My mother lived in a small town next to Istanbul half of her life. Still, she managed not to get used to it, kept complaining, and making impossible plans for moving to another city one day. I could never make sense of her stuckness. But I disliked the city too, partly mimicking her, partly responding to the fate's mockery of placing the most boring city of Turkey next to its most exciting one. The moment I was old enough to live alone, I jumped to the other side of the sea. Istanbul became my new home, and Yalova, the peaceful little town I escaped to when I was exhausted. I regarded them as two distinct universes where I could act like different persons. When I heard that there would be a Sufi gathering in the mountain right next to my mother's house, and some of my friends from Istanbul were planning to be there, I felt almost ashamed, as if I get caught naked in one of my childhood pictures. I asked my mother to drive me to the gathering and leave immediately. Although I knew she would enjoy the gathering, I didn't invite her because I wasn't ready for my universes to collide. I entered the little resort to listen to the opening talk. It was normally a restaurant for tourists and hikers, but turned into a spiritual house with the help of candles and scents. A German woman with red hair and blue bead necklaces explained that once the music and the dance started, they would not stop for 3 days. Everyone was welcome to join, and the right time could be felt by paying attention to the heart. Although there had been many theories that discussed the right way of practicing sama, they believed the rightest way was how each person felt for themselves. The people were coming from many different countries, but they were all dressed in similar cotton beige textiles. Even though it was my hometown, I felt like I was a stranger among them, with my black t-shirt with a print of a punk face that said, "No mustache." While gazing the crowd with curiosity, my eyes got stuck on the flower boy. And I didn't know his name yet. He had a blunt impression in his face, as if he was on a journey among the clouds while his body was resting on the chair. His blonde hair was turning into a brown single dread on his shoulders. He was as skinny as a child, and he had mud stains as if he just played in the mud. An angel, I thought. After the prayer, the music started. People kissed the floor before standing up for whirling. It was only few people at the beginning, but slowly more people found the inspiration to join. With each person, the room expanded, the music ascended, the whirls accelerated. A joy was melting down by my spine. I was smiling as if I had met some old friends after a long time. At the same time, I wanted to cry out all the fear and the sadness that accumulated in my chest like leftovers in a sink. Before collapsing to the middle of these two extremes, I managed to close my eyes, kiss the floor, and start whirling. A night passed in Meshk without sleep. Still, I had no urge to sleep or to eat. As the sun appeared on the horizon, the sky became brighter in each whirl as if the universe confided its colors to us for a morning. The sky's beauty nourished me, fed, and rested me. With its borrowed wisdom, I whispered to my ear, "You are in love." I wanted to meet him, but it was almost impossible to catch the flower boy. He went from one place to another, slept on the grass, and ate berries because he only ate raw. I could never understand how he found so many things to do or places to see in that little forest. It felt as if he had a completely different map in front of his eyes. Occasionally, he whirled with us. After a few seconds, he laughed with joy and went out to his adventures again. I became obsessed with this mystery. Perhaps the channels Sama opened in my heart mistakenly connected themselves to him. Or he was sent to me to understand a true love that would be directed to all beings. I wanted to reach him, I wanted not to reach him. I rested myself in the impossibility of sharing the same dimension with him. I was no longer whirling around myself, but around the resort to encounter him. Whenever I found him, I was immediately changing my way not to disturb him. Towards the end of the gathering, I saw him folding some clothes and placing in a big green bag. Perhaps he was about to leave, and it was my last chance to speak. Chestnut relapse. I had no other choice but to disturb the mystery, so I stepped forward. My arrival didn't surprise him. "Do you believe in God?" I asked. Silence. He gave me a map on a piece of paper, his handwriting.